suggestions have been made because it appears that people are worried about the effectiveness of FERMA, and it seems your biggest challenge seems to be paucity of funds. And right. Some have also suggested that, like the UBEC model, that there should be a FERMA structure at the state level where funds can be drawn on counterpart basis. What do you think about that?
Well, the difference in FERMA is that the road sector is not like universal primary education. There are federal roads which are under the jurisdiction of the federal government, and there are state roads which are under the jurisdiction of state roads maintenance agencies. Now, the state roads maintenance agencies handle the state roads, and there is quite a lot of them. And the Federal Roads Maintenance Agency is supposed to handle just the 36,000 kilometers of the federal highway network. And therefore, whatever the initiatives of the federal government will, in a large way, go into addressing the problems of the federal highway network.
What do you think should be the right structure for it? Do you support that FERMA should be inaugurated, FERMA should be created at the state level?
My view and my suggestion should be that FERMA as a structure should be funded with what is provided in the current FERMA Act, because it is an act, it is a law. It is there in the template of the pricing of petroleum products in Nigeria. Membership of FERMA board usually includes a member from PPPRA. So this is an established act. It has never been doubted. It is there, but if you take a look at the template, there is zero allocation for that particular item of road maintenance. And that is what has also been advocated by including members of the National Assembly.
What exactly are you talking of when you said that the PPPRA is also involved? Does it suggest that the FERMA Act suggests that, or presupposes that there should be an amount of money coming from the petroleum sector to fund from the oil proceeds to fund FERMA?
Actually stipulates.
How much is it?
5%.
5%.
It stipulates 5% of the price of the pricing template of the petroleum products. It further goes to stipulate that one of the members of the board of FERMA would be a member of PPPRA.
Okay.
So that stipulation is clear. That is something I can speak confidently about because it is an existing law. And I can say for sure that if that stipulation is followed, and by the way, it has been in effect since 2007, if that stipulation is followed, it will put paid to most of the problems, substantially to the problems of funding of maintenance of federal highways. And I think that is the best way to go.
So why are they not implementing this law?
Well, I don't know.
That means, are you saying you are not doing anything about protecting the law of your agency?
No, the agency has, I've seen the records, the agency there has been a lot of initiatives, even now as we speak, to try to get that stipulation into effect. It is known at the Senate and the House and the National Assembly in general. The National Road Transport Owners Association are aware of it, and they are advocating. We are advocating it. As far as I know, most professionals in the transportation sector know about it and are advocating it. The entire road structure is road sector is undergoing some kind of restructuring, and there are presently, as you would know, there are presently bills in the National Assembly towards creating or enhancing the structure and role of the Federal Roads Maintenance Authority to become a Federal Highways Authority, and there are provisions for this kind of funding. So there's a lot, to be fair, there's a lot I know that is going on towards addressing the question of funding and adequacy of funding for roads repairs.
There seems to be a lot of controversy between the FERMA Act and the Federal Highway Act. The issue of the toll fee is another issue that is generating a lot of controversy. The Minister of Power is arguing that according to the Federal Highway Act, it gives the Ministry of Power, Works and Housing the responsibility to collect proceeds from to manage the toll fee, while looking at the responsibility of FERMA, why it is created, one would have just said that it naturally makes sense for FERMA to be the one in control of the toll fee. So what's your position on this?
Well, the present position is that the Federal Highway Act does place responsibility for tolling policy on the Federal Ministry of Works. The Federal Ministry of Works, if it wishes, can mandate the actual implementation of tolling on FERMA. But that has not happened because it is just now the federal government and the Ministry of Works specifically is revisiting the tolling policy. About 2-3 months ago, the minister mentioned on the floor of the Senate and in a Senate public hearing that there is now a tolling policy and the government is going to reenact the toll plazas and start implementing the toll roads.
The coming to being of a Federal Highway Authority, wouldn't that automatically relegate the Federal Ministry of Works and Housing? Don't you think so?
It will affect the share of responsibilities on the federal highways between FERMA and the Federal Ministry of Works. Yes, I agree. I wouldn't use the word relegate because the Federal Ministry of Works remains the preeminent entity that is in charge of policy, and it is representing the road sector in the federal cabinet. So I wouldn't say that it is relegating.
Isn't this just a question of semantics?
Yes, it's semantics. The important thing is to have an agency that will be effectively structured and funded. Yeah, that is the bottom line.
Talking about Federal Highway Authority presupposes that it will go beyond just repairs to total reconstruction.
It will include reconstruction, yes. It will also include the ability to go into PPPs with investors to construct roads and toll roads. It will include the ability to give long-term concessions to financiers and so on, all of which presently FERMA does not have the power to do.
Recent report shows that the poorest roads are in the southeast. As a matter of fact, it's been called death traps. What are you doing about this?
Well, as a general statement, I will say yes. Even in our own experience, the biggest difficulties on the roads and the most terrible bad spots we've identified and are working on are there in the east. And we have been active in the present program in all the states of the Federation. I will be the first to admit to you that what we are doing, even what we are doing now, is inadequate to capture all the big difficulties. But in general, I'll also tell you that a lot of these problems involve the need for total reconstruction.